Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Rewilded Wellness Podcast. I am your host, Lydia Joy. I hope you are enjoying summer. We are deep in it, the heat, the heart. And the thing that I love about this time of year the most is all this solar energy we're getting. It's really such a reprieve for so many people who tend to struggle during the winter months, particularly if you live in the north. I live in the Northeast. And, it could be more so of a challenge for people who are recouping from certain things, such as mold in particular, right? And so this is such a great time of year to get powered back up through the natural resources nature provides us, namely the sun. Um, Even though it's hot, I know some of y'all are like, what? It's hot out here. The abundance of natural resources available right now is phenomenal. You can see it in the plant kingdom as well. I don't know about you, but my garden is bursting. It's going absolutely crazy. I've created some type of eco jungle in my yard. And this is the perfect time of year to work with this energy so that you can be not just feeling good now, but so that you can be restoring your cellular charge in preparation for the next season and the next season. And that is the seasonal healing way, right? Every season prepares us for the next. And this brings me to what I want to talk about today, something that's become unavoidable in our modern world, which is toxic exposures. Whether it's mold exposure, heavy metals, infections, or just the daily bombardment of chemicals we're all dealing with, our bodies are truly working overtime to process things they were never designed to handle. And here's what I see happening. Let's say somebody discovers they've been exposed to mold. Or they get a mycotoxin panel back showing all these toxins they need to clear. Maybe they find out they have heavy metals or they're dealing with some kind of chronic infection, right? So they start working with a practitioner. Of course, the type of practitioner varies, right? They get a protocol, they take all the binders, they take all the support supplements, right? But, perhaps in time, their body still feels stuck. Perhaps the toxins aren't clearing. They find themselves frustrated. They're wondering why their body won't cooperate. They're beginning to think like, oh my gosh, should I be spending all this money? Right? And so, this is the kind of thing that I'm hearing. So when someone comes to me, I don't want to just jump into a therapeutic protocol right out of the gate necessarily. I want to see the forest through the trees. And I do this by looking at 3 or more key pieces of data. As you know, the hair tissue mineral analysis, their biome effects, and the genetic profile, right? That's another piece of data that we can look at. And what I consistently find is that people are missing the foundation, right? They're missing the cellular electrical system that powers everything. They're missing, gaps within their microbiome and, you know, um, what they have been, how their body has adapted from the previous generation and the previous generation, right? And we see that through the genetic data. So I want to share what got me thinking about some things a little differently, right? I recently had a consult with a mold expert, a doctor who specializes in interpreting um, microbiome tests and much, much more. He's wonderful. Absolutely appreciate his body of work, his expertise. And we were discussing methylation and genetic variants, and he said something that really stuck with me. He said methylation is like a country road, whereas glucuronidation and sulfation pathways are like 10-lane highways. And his point was that these bigger pathways handle most of the detox volume, so that's where we should focus. And I thought, okay, that's cool, but why does that mean we should ignore the country road? Here's the thing. That country road, it's actually the traffic control system, if you will. It controls whether those highways flow smoothly or get backed up. But there's an even bigger piece that both perspectives were missing, and this is what I want to talk about today. What if the entire electrical grid is down? What if there's no power to run the traffic lights or the highways? And that's what I see happening more and more all the time, right? People are focused on, supporting detox pathways. But, their cellular electrical system is completely down. And until we fix that foundation and turn that electrical system back on, nothing else is going to really, truly work properly, right? So we're at this point where a lot of people are experiencing what we're going to call a cellular electrical crisis, right? So what do I mean by this cellular electrical system being down? Your cells maintain electrical charge through multiple mineral dependent systems working together. And it's much more complex than just one pump, right? The sodium potassium pump, it's like the main electrical generator. It creates the primary voltage by keeping sodium outside and potassium inside the cell. But that's just one part of the electrical network. You also have calcium channels that control electrical signaling. Calcium can rush into the cells to trigger actions and then gets pumped back out. Magnesium acts like an electrical stabilizer, regulating how these calcium channels work and maintaining the proper electrical environment for hundreds of enzymes. So you can think of it like your house's electrical system. That sodium potassium pump is like your main breaker box. Calcium channels are like your light switches, and magnesium is the electrical grounding that keeps everything stable and safe. So when any part of this system breaks down, when potassium is too low, for example, on a hair test, when magnesium is deficient, when calcium gets dysregulated, your cellular electrical charge drops. And here's what's crucial to understand. Often, our cellular electrical systems are already compromised before we ever encounter major toxin exposure. Modern life depletes these minerals faster than we can replace them. And many of us came into the modern world already minerally imbalanced. We got our mother's imprint, right? Maybe we got some metals in the womb too, right? And so, there are many things such as EMF exposure, chronic stress, processed foods, lack of grounding with the earth. All of this disrupts our cellular electrical systems. Then, when we're exposed to toxins like mold or heavy metals, our already compromised electrical system can't handle the additional burden. It's like trying to run a space heater on a house with old wiring, right? Have you guys ever experienced that? I have. The electrical system was already stressed and, not optimized and, right? And now you're asking it to handle more load than it can manage. So when your cellular electrical system is compromised, your cells go into cell danger response. They shut down non-essential functions like detoxification to preserve what little electrical energy they have for basic survival. And this is why you can take all the detox supplements in the world, but if your cellular electrical infrastructure is failing, nothing really sticks. So therefore you think it's not working. And the cells literally don't have the electrical power to run the pumps and processes that eliminate toxins. So, okay, that's shared. I want to talk about what I'm going to call the 3-phase detox highway system. We want to talk about these highways, okay? Your actual detox pathways. Understanding these phases is important because most people are trying to support detox without knowing how the system works, right? Phase 1 happens in your liver. It takes toxins and makes them water soluble using something called the cytochrome P450 system. But here's the catch. This process often makes toxins more dangerous temporarily. It's like taking the safety off a grenade. Phase 2 is where the magic happens. This is where your body packages those dangerous compounds safely for elimination. And there are 6 different pathways here, but the 2 big ones are glucuronidation and sulfation. So, glucuronidation is that 10-lane highway. It handles about 40 to 50% of your detox load. It processes things like steroid hormones, environmental toxins, mold toxins. This pathway requires many things for optimal function, right? Like magnesium, for example, is a key cofactor along with B vitamins and other nutrients. I bring up magnesium simply because it's like the one we all know about, and it's really easy to burn it up in the modern world, the way that we're living. Then we have sulfation is the other major highway. It processes neurotransmitters, hormones, and phenolic compounds. And this pathway needs things like molybdenum and sulfur to function properly, among other cofactors. And when people have backed up sulfation pathways, it's often because they're missing key nutrients like molybdenum, and they might have some mutations there. Phase 3, um, which causes them to have to adapt even more differently than somebody who doesn't, right? Um, Now, phase 3 is getting those packaged toxins out of your body through things like bile, urine, breath, and sweat. This is where potassium becomes critical, along with proper kidney function, adequate hydration, healthy elimination pathways, right? But here's where it gets interesting. This is something that came up in a recent consult I had. With a mold expert, a huge part of phase 3 elimination happens through your gut. Your liver packages toxins into bile, it sends them to your intestines, and then your gut microbiome plays a crucial role in making sure those toxins actually leave your body instead of getting reabsorbed. So, if your gut bacteria are imbalanced, which they probably are, most of us have this because of the modern built environment, right? Or if you have intestinal permeability, those carefully packaged toxins can get broken apart and reabsorbed back into your system. It's like a garbage truck dumping the trash back in your living room, for example. Um, okay, so now I'm going to talk about the methylation traffic control system and getting out of cell danger, okay? I want to talk about that country road, methylation. Even though it's a smaller pathway in terms of volume, it's actually the traffic control system for your entire detox network. Methylation is essentially your body's way of turning genes on and off. It controls which detox enzymes get produced, how much, and when. It's like the central command center that coordinates all those highways we just talked about. But here's what's really important to understand. And this gets to the biggest piece of how we actually support detox effectively. You can't just throw nutrients at individual pathways and expect them to work if your cells are still in danger mode, right? When cells are in survival mode, they shift their gene expression priorities. So here's what actually happens. Phase 1, detox genes may actually increase because your cells are trying to process immediate threats. But phase 2 detox genes, those resource-intensive processes that safely package toxins, might be getting downregulated. So the cells are essentially saying, we don't have the energy or resources for the expensive cleanup processes right now. So the methylation processes that coordinate everything also get deprioritized. The genes are still there, but the cellular decision is to allocate limited energy elsewhere toward immediate survival functions rather than optimization. And this is why you can take all the methylation support in the world, but if your cells are in survival mode, they're not going to invest energy in running those processes efficiently. All right, here's what's really cool. You can actually see this playing out in a hair tissue mineral analysis. The minerals tell the story of which systems are struggling, how you have adapted. It is your biography showing up in your biology. You can see the electrical piece through the sodium-potassium ratios, magnesium levels, even the calcium. You can see phase 2 capacity through things like the sulfur levels and the molybdenum ratio, the sulfur-molybdenum ratio, molybdenum levels. You can see elimination capacity through potassium levels. But it's actually much more thorough than just those markers. The entire test is telling us the story of all the phases. So the biggest piece of supporting detox isn't finding the perfect liver support supplement, right? For example, it's like getting your cells out of cell danger response first. And this means restoring your cellular electrical system. And when we do support the body with additional elements, whether that's nutrients, herbs, or supplements, it has to be comprehensive enough to address the whole system. And this is where genetic variants become important too. People don't just need more support for specific pathways, they need a better strategy. They need to see how the pathways can potentially get kinks along the way, kind of like, a garden hose having a kink in it, right? Like, what that's like. Or, if you look at the back of an old fashioned clock, if one of the gears in the back is broken, the whole system doesn't work properly. Okay. So I want to bring this all together for you. If you're struggling with what you want to call toxic overload, whether it's mold, heavy metals, the list could go on. There's so many, right? Or just the daily chemical burden of modern life, and your current approach isn't working, here's what I want you to understand. Your cellular electrical system might be compromised, and that is one of the foundations that everything else depends on. And so you can think of it like this. You can have the most sophisticated highway system in the world, but if the power grid is compromised, traffic moves chaotically without proper coordination. We've all seen it before, right? You've been out driving when the power goes out before, right? Your cells are the same way. They need adequate electrical charge to run the pumps, the processes, the gene expression that make efficient detoxification possible. So the key insights to remember. First, your cellular electrical system depends on multiple minerals working together, right? For example, the first four, right? Sodium, potassium, magnesium, calcium, they play crucial roles. And they each have a metabolism and they each respond to multiple factors, right? So when these get out of balance, your cells go into survival mode and shut down non-essential functions like detoxification. Second, your detox pathways work in sequence, right? Phase 1 makes toxins more dangerous temporarily. Phase 2 packages them safely. Phase 3 gets them out. If any phase is compromised, the whole system backs up, right? And then methylation acts as the traffic control system, coordinating all these pathways through gene expression. But when cells are in danger mode, they don't invest energy in these coordination processes. And fourth, you can actually see all this playing out in functional testing, like the hair tissue mineral analysis, right? The minerals are telling us the story of which systems are struggling and where the kinks in the hose are. And here's the crucial piece we haven't talked about enough. Your gut. It plays a massive role in phase 3 elimination. Your liver packages toxins into bile and sends them to your intestines, but your gut microbiome determines whether those toxins actually leave your body or get reabsorbed. If your gut bacteria are imbalanced, those carefully packaged toxins can get broken apart and recirculated back into your system. And this is why looking at your microbiome alongside your minerals and genetic data gives us a much more complete picture of your detox capacity. And the bottom line is this, right? The comprehensive support that we do put in place means addressing the foundation first, your cellular electrical system, while also providing targeted support for the specific pathways that need it most, including your gut's role in elimination, all based on your individual biochemistry. Now, I know this can feel overwhelming especially when you hear practitioners talk about detox pathways and phases and methylation and all these complex terms, right? People have asked me about this before, and I just wanted to take the time to break it down in a way that hopefully makes more sense and simplifies it. So if you found this helpful, or if you're having one of those aha moments where things are starting to click together, I totally would love to hear from you. And if you have any questions, definitely reach out. This is exactly the kind of thing I want to make sure is clear for people to understand. And then here's how I actually help people with this in practice. So I offer a minerals and microbes package. It includes both a hair tissue mineral analysis and a comprehensive microbiome test. This gives us that complete picture we talked about: your cellular electrical system, your detox pathway capacity, and your gut's role in elimination. And if you already have your genetic data, whether it's from 23andMe, Ancestry DNA, or another service, I can layer that analysis in as well. And we can look at how your genetic variants affect your specific detox pathways and create a more personalized strategy that works with your individual biochemistry instead of against it, right? Now, the goal isn't to overwhelm you with more information, but to help you understand what your body is actually telling you through these tests and then create a comprehensive plan for you, specifically for you, that addresses this key foundation first so you can build back better and allow it to stick over time. Does that make sense, right? So you can find more information about my minerals and microbes package on my website in the show notes below. And seriously, if this episode helped clarify some of the confusion around detox and methylation, or if you have questions about how this applies to your situation, just reach out. I really love helping people connect these dots. So that is it for today. Short and sweet. I appreciate you tuning in. I hope you found an aha. And I hope to see you in the next episode where I'm going to geek out some more with you. Until then, stay wild, stay well, and enjoy all this lovely solar energy.